What's up, everybody? It's me, it's the B.O.B., and I'm here with my man, Maestro. Maestro, how you doing today?
What's up, everybody? It's me, it's the Maestro. All is good, man. My Jets did great, that first week, playing Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers, and to get that win, it was awesome. Why are you looking like that?
Wake up.
You saying we didn't win? Forget it.
To be fair, you started off they didn't play bad. They didn't play bad at all.
No.
But Aaron Rodgers just happened to play a little bit better than everybody expected him to play.
Yeah, and I'll say something. It's never been a question about talent in the outer areas for Pittsburgh. Oh, by the way, this is around the table.
Yeah, I was gonna get back to that, but I was letting you go. This is around the table with Big Bob and the Maestro. That's Maestro on Big Bob, and this is the podcast that we talk about whatever we want, and we don't care about being professional, and we don't care about our taglines or anything like that either.
Oh my goodness, boy!
Back to you.
We're gonna hear about that one. But yeah, it was okay. So just to get out of the way, because the week was a lot of teams played a lot better, I think, in general, including my Jets Metropolitans, than a lot of people thought they would. The reality of it, though, is this, and I'll say this: Pittsburgh has always had talent in the skill positions.
Yeah.
They've just been trying to fill the quarterback void for a long time, ever since Roethlisberger, I almost call him a really ugly name, Roethlisberger.
It's called him the name you shouldn't say. We would have to mute that part of the...
Yeah, we definitely would. Anyway, it has to do with a bathroom down in southern Georgia. I'm going to say it like that. Look it up. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Don't look it up.
So it is... What really bothered me, even though it probably bothered me more than it should. It shouldn't bother me at all, I guess. I hear about it saying Maestro should be more mature than that. So yes, you're right. The fact that he went to I want to show everybody in New York I could still play. Dude, you came in there the first year. Everybody wanted you there. You tore your Achilles, yes. And then you abandoned the team again. So let me get this straight. You come in the first year, you don't show up for anything because you don't feel like you don't have to. You come in, you play 71 seconds, your Achilles get torn, and everybody starts having memorials for you because they want you to be better and come back. You come back the second year, and yes, you did underperform, but the team underperformed. And what was interesting is every time it was a win, you were this, you did that, you did what you wanted to do. Every time it was a lose, we have to work some things out. Some people got to get better, all that other stuff. And then plus the way you treated the coach, I'm not going to get into that. But anyway, the reality of it was people were upset when he left. And, I was probably one of the few Jets fans that were like, bye, Felicia. So the fact that his comeback was, I want to show them I can still play, was like, dude, you slapped the wrong people. And, when you slap a bunch of New Yorkers, they're not going to forget that. So anyway, but, all that aside, though, it was really good to see the Jets play well. I'm going to get off the Jets right now. But it was a lot of other teams that I think a lot of people were surprised at performing well. And that was cool to see, too. But Big Bob, I'm gonna say this: how many teams did not work their starters at all this preseason and had a horrible Sunday?
Yeah. Well, first, before we completely get off the Jets, I do want to say that Justin Fields was pretty impressive for the Jets on Sunday. He was one of the bright spots of the team. 3 touchdowns. I don't think he had any turnovers. New York is going to be okay this year, I think. The Steelers aren't any slouches on defense, and he was able to put together a successful game. So I don't want to. I know you're a Jets fan. You're realistic, or you're.
Gotcha.
I don't know if I want to say you have a lot of trauma. You have a lot of trauma there as a Jets fan.
That's an understatement. That's like saying that's a little leery of fire.
Well, to talk about teams that underperformed, I mean, I don't know if you want to say they underperformed, but I don't. And nobody ever counts out Patrick Mahomes. But the Chiefs going down against Los Angeles, Philly, I know they won, but
Hmm.
man, they giving up 20 points to Dallas.
Yeah.
You just, I
Yeah.
mean, to
Yeah.
be fair, I mean, Dallas has talented people on offense, but
Mm.
we just don't expect them to challenge players or teams like
No.
Philly. But it also doesn't
No.
help that Philly lost one of their big guys up in the middle before the game even started after he retaliated from Dak spitting towards him or near him.
Yes.
And then he spit on him. Would have been a different game if Dak would have got the same
Oh, very
consequence.
much so.
but
Very much so. You're
but
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
but there are some teams like the Dolphins. You don't expect the Dolphins to put up 8 points against the Colts. You don't expect the Colts
Right.
to absolutely smack with Daniel Jones back there. With Daniel Jones played a pretty solid game for the Colts. Obviously, they're making the right decision right now after one. That's what's the word? When you're making takes too soon. Too
Oh
soon.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Way too early. Way too
Way
early.
too early.
Way
Daniel
too. Yeah.
Daniel Jones MVP 33-8 against the Dolphins as the Colts quarterback. um, but yeah, I mean, those are some of the big ones. I just didn't. And Cincinnati, I never know what to get from Cincinnati anymore. Obviously, they beat the Browns by one, but I just you never know what to expect from that team. Obviously, it's week one. Everybody's working out the kinks and everything like that. Don't want to hammer. Don't want to spend too much time on the already potential game of the year candidate that happened Buffalo versus Baltimore because everybody's hammering home. Got Marsh talking about it. But yeah, that was a crazy 16-point comeback. Honestly, I fell asleep. Um, I was tired, and I went to sleep with the Ravens up. Um, and I think they still had the ball with was it under a minute or was it like under 2 minutes or whatever? They still had the ball, and I went to bed. I didn't expect to wake
You
up and open up my phone and see that the Bills won at all.
Yeah, Bills got the ball back after a turnover. They were able to score. Baltimore had the ball with basically had to punt it away with like a minute 30 left. Buffalo went down and kicked a field goal. And what was interesting is, and I'll say this again, just putting more salt in the wound, people don't understand the last time the Bills came back from being down that much in the fourth quarter was against the New York Jets back in 1967.
More trauma.
So
More trauma.
talk about
Everybody's
Trump.
bringing
Exactly, exactly. See what I'm talking about. But you know what though, and I have to say this: Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, and the way those teams are built are the model for I think SWFL franchises moving forward. More so than what's happening with a team like the Chiefs, because if you can get a mobile and accurate quarterback, that basically gives you truly 11 weapons on the field. And oh, by the way, for those of you who might not necessarily follow the SWFL much, if you can watch that game again, don't look at the quarterback, don't look at the wide receivers, look at what the offensive and defensive lines of both teams were doing and look at their athleticism. It shows you how those squads are built around the athletic skill position players. So, and Bob will say this, that's a term I really don't agree with, because quite frankly, if you've seen offensive linemen work, anybody can catch a ball. Anybody can take a ball and run till they get hit. It takes a lot to orchestrate blocking somebody. And to me, blocking is a skill that is completely underrated by people who don't know the game.
Absolutely. And I know people hate when I say it. I don't think I've ever said it in SimWorld or on any of our podcasts or anything, but the offensive and the defensive line are the two most important positions in football.
Mm-hmm.
You go and put Tom Brady behind one of the worst, give him the worst offensive line in the SWFL, and he would make some plays, but he's not going. He's not winning. You're not winning.
Well, you remember though, you remember the one time he had the really horrible offensive line because of off-season injuries was the year he got his ACL torn in game, what was it, game 2? Game whatever it was.
Game 2 or 3, I can't remember. That was the year that Matt Castle. They still. I think they won 11 games that year, but didn't they win 11 games and then miss the playoffs? I think, or something crazy.
They sure did. Yeah, it was something crazy like that because what was interesting is Castle was a lot more mobile. And oh, by the way, it was the very first game of the season against the Kansas City Chiefs, ironically enough. And that was the year that started the mini run that the Jets went on, by the way.
Oh, was that what year? Was that 08?
Yeah, 2008.
Because I think
2008.
they went back to back AFC championships. Rex Ryan,
championship games.
Mark Sanchez. Yep.
So the reality of it is, of course that made them change the rules.
Everything Brady does changes the rules.
Yeah, I know, right? And it's so funny because you talk about a guy who looks like he should be your lawyer representing you in tax court as opposed to an NFL quarterback, right? But yet still his intelligence dominance of the game showed so early for so many people that it was recognized that the game was weaker without him. And you don't see players like Lamar Jackson. You don't see players like even Josh Allen. So, you can't pull out the race card. You don't see players like that getting that kind of protection. When something happens to them, all of a sudden there's some unique rule that comes up the same way that Tom Brady did. But anyway, but yeah, so you're right. But you're absolutely right, though. You put any quarterback behind a subpar offensive line, there's going to be some damage done.
Yeah. I do want to give a shout out. I know he didn't play the greatest game in the world, but I wasn't expecting a whole lot from him this season. But Spencer Rattler for the Saints, they lost.
Oh, yeah.
They lost, but he played pretty solid back there. I mean, when you got some talented players like Olave and Kamara back there with you, Kamara back there, Olave out at receiver, it's going to help out a little bit. But I still, Spencer Rattler, I mean, I remember his last season or two in SWU Football, the one year they were talking about him being one of the top quarterback prospects, and then was it when he transferred? Did he go from South Carolina to Oklahoma or Oklahoma? I can't remember. But I know he transferred, and he didn't have the year people expected him to have.
No.
But he hurt his draft stock, and then he didn't really obviously have to do much in the SWFL because he had decent players ahead of him. But yeah, I just wanted to give him a shout out because he played pretty solid and admirably for the Saints yesterday. Anybody that you want to shout out that some people might not really care about or have on their radar?
You know what? I'm going to give this person a shout out and to show you how I can be a good guy and relatively forgiving. I'm going to give Geno Smith a shout out. And for those who might not know the history, I'm not going to get into it here, but Geno Smith is the kind of guy that if I saw him on the street, I'd beat him to death with a trash can. Just because of the things I've seen him do to people that he should care about. That being said, to throw for over 300 yards in his debut with the Las Vegas Raiders and the way that he led that team was very impressive. He showed himself to be what everybody thought he could be in the league, and it was really good to see. So shout out to him, and that's about all I can stand the taste to say right now. So,
and anybody that plays Madden, go ahead and go trade for Dante Thornton Jr. He didn't do a whole lot this game. He didn't do a whole lot this game. He had 2 catches, 45 yards. But me and my brother live far apart, but we play the game together, and we figured out how we can play together on the same team from far away, and we did a Raiders franchise, and he's like 6'4", 6'5", one of the fastest players. It's like crazy. But that's a little nerdy video game tidbit for everybody out there.
Randy Moss without the Q, without the IQ is what people, is how people describe him.
Oof. Yeah. Oh, man, Randy. Shout out to the cancer treatments being over. But man, could you imagine if he actually put his heart into it 100%, 80% of the time?
Okay, I'm gonna say something. We're gonna do a whole episode on something. I was lucky enough to get a week with that dude, and I learned a lot. But that's for a whole nother episode. And you're absolutely right. If he did not let his circumstances direct his attention sometimes, oh my goodness gracious, Jerry Rice times 12.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I just watched a video on him the other day, and what did I can't remember. It was Jesus. It was with the Vikings. It was his rookie season, and he did. They told him I think it was him that brought up the idea, or somebody gave the coach the idea of running. It wasn't Dennis Green at the time. It was the offensive coordinator. Was it crap? I can't remember his name. He went on to be a head coach, and I'm drawing a blank right now. But he said that they said to let Randy do something, and it wasn't their philosophy. They're like, you know what, give it a try, and he did it, and they were like, yeah, well, I guess we'll do that a little bit, because they didn't think it wasn't part of their philosophy, but they were willing to adapt their game a little bit to their new guy. And you had to, 17 touchdowns later as a 1,300 yards, 17 touchdowns later as a rookie. I'm sure they're happy that they did that. And 3 for 3, 50-yard touchdowns against the Cowboys. I know they're real happy about that. But we'll shift gear a little bit. We got SWU Football rankings came out. Week 2 and a half. I don't know what you want to call it. We got the week 0, so I'll call it 2.5. Some big things, some little things, some losses that maybe people didn't expect. You can't get too excited about all the things that happened. We're still playing. I just saw a video saying Penn State versus a box of fruit roll-ups from when they played Nevada.
That's so wrong. Oh, that's so wrong. That's so wrong.
But they play Villanova this coming week. Great. It's another easy win. Hopefully, you never know. Might pull a Michigan from 2005, 2004, whatever it was. But any surprise? Penn State, they got 5 first place votes. They're still in second place. As a Penn State fan, I never like Penn State being ranked high, because anytime we're ranked high, we always lose against teams that we shouldn't lose to. I also don't like us I don't necessarily think they are the number 2 team in the nation right now. Personally, I just think there's other teams that have done some more impressive things but Penn State was number 2. They didn't do anything to lose number 2. So I see why they're still there.
Right.
Ohio State jumping. They jumped last week because of them beating Texas the week before. Any surprises for you, or anything that you don't necessarily agree with? I see, looking at the rankings right now, I see Notre Dame went up one, and they're 0-1.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm going to say this. I'm surprised about that, but I'm more surprised about the reason why they're not why they went up and they don't even have a win. First of all, it's Notre Dame, so you're going to have the rep to deal with. You have the reputation, right? Also, the idea of Notre Dame not playing any, how can we say this? Not having yet to play a box of fruit roll-ups like some other teams have. But the thing is, and I'm just going to say this, I think it was disrespectful for how they handle a couple other teams and moving them up. And by that I mean this: Ohio State shows you how weak they are as a coaching squad, going out and beating up on a smaller team 75-0 to prove that you could do it. Yeah. I had very little respect for that coaching staff. I'm not going to say any of their names. Had very little respect for the coaching staff before, and it's even less now. So it's actually in the negative now. You don't do that. You don't do it that way. You go out, you play strong, you win. And one thing I would say, and yes, I'm biased. Yes, University of Georgia is Maestro's team. You guys know that. But the fact that Kirby Smart will go out and stay in his base formation the entire game, doesn't do anything fancy, never runs up the score. And that's why people hate betting the spread against Georgia, no matter who they play, because Kirby Smart plays with sportsmanship and the way it's supposed to be. And that's and his players say that all the time. Whenever they do something that looks like they're trying to run the score, they will say, Kirby won't say anything on the field, but when he gets us alone and says, listen, we don't do that around here. Right. So that just shows you the respect that he has for the game and his opponent. And believe me, that kind of stuff is going to come back at you at some point. Not only did the Ohio You know, I can not only did the Ohio State University coaching staff do that, Texas A&M does it all the time because that guy has the mental facility of a wet paper bag in a tornado. So there's just, you know, the guy in Texas, I can't stand. The guy in Texas can stand right next to Geno Smith, and I could take care of them both by myself. I'm good. So, you know, but I tell you what really got me, and even though I'm an SEC homer, is to finish off what you and I talked about last week, 11 teams in the top 25 is huge. And that's with Florida losing to the University of South Florida. The way they lost to the University of South Florida, they still managed to get 11 teams into the top 25. When we talked about that whole two mega super conferences versus everybody else, if that doesn't tell you that people view SEC sports, specifically SEC football, a little bit different than everybody else, it definitely does, Big Bob.
Oh, for sure. Honestly, I got to change the subject quickly for a second because I just realized I packed all my stuff. I haven't used my fancy microphone for a long time. Packed my fancy microphone, have it all set up. I forgot to change the settings, Maestro. I've been sitting here recording on the laptop microphone the whole time. Anyways, yeah, I mean, it's.
I don't mind starting over if it's cool with you.
Oh no. I was getting no. I just sitting here. I'm like I muted it because I wanted to clear my throat and realize, hey, it's still going. And I'm like, oh man. But yeah, the SEC. I mean, I understand. I'll jump. You said about putting those high points up on those little teams. I want to jump back to that. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. I mean, what are you doing? You're padding your stats, trying to make sure that your stats don't look bad, things like that. SEC, I want to talk about a non-SEC. I at least want to highlight a non-SEC team that just whooped up. I'm going to say whooped up. It wasn't really a whooping, but it was a surprising win. Florida lost to South Florida. I'm going to give South Florida a shout out. Matt Groth back in the day, he was I loved watching him play. I mean, I think what was it 20 years ago or so, something like that he played for the South Florida Bulls, and he put them on the map. You know, he was a Heisman candidate heading into his senior year, but I think they went 6-6. They didn't do what they were expected to do. I love when those they call them smaller schools. They're a small school. I love when they're able to pick up these wins, and they beat Boise State ranked 25th in week 1, Florida ranked 13th week 2. I'm really excited to see what they do against number 5 Miami this coming week, the 13th. I don't root for Miami to lose, but I'm definitely going to root for South Florida to pick up 3 straight ranked wins in a row, and then hopefully they can win out the season if they do that, But when these little teams like this pick up all those big wins, they're going to lose against a half-eaten box of fruit roll-ups at some point during the season.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you're and oh, by the way, that's a great call by you in terms of like a pad and the stats, because they act like people are not going to remember that. Yeah, and they definitely are. And they definitely are.
Yeah, I always remember I forget what happened. It was SWFL. It was 2008 or 2009, whenever Brett Favre and the Vikings in the playoffs went and played Dallas. Something happened earlier in that season with the Vikings in Dallas. The Vikings didn't forget, and they decided to do what they could to embarrass the Cowboys in the playoffs. Teams are going to remember that. Whenever you do something to them, or maybe you do something to somebody they like, they're going to remember it, and they're going to do what they need to later on in the year. When you get that, when you have, let's say Ohio State plays Michigan, and they remember Michigan scored 70-something points against some little school, maybe they're going to go, you know what? Let's try and put. It's 40-10. Let's keep going. Make them look stupid. If you want to do that to them, we'll do that to you.
Yes, exactly.
It just doesn't prove anything, except maybe again. But I say that to also say, now, did they do that with their starters? Was their third string, their fourth string in? Penn State has done it in the past. At some point, you want teams to call off the dogs, but also if you're leaving your starters in, which I don't know if that was the case last week with Michigan's game. If you're going to leave your starters in, and we're going to have our third string, fourth string in, you can bet I'm going to try and score because the kids all deserve a chance. I actually have changed my tune on that a little bit in recent years, and it was after a James Franklin speech where I forget who it was, but they said they were all mad at James Franklin because they were accused of running up the score, and he's like, the first string players aren't the only ones that deserve to play.
You know what? You're absolutely right. I remember that game. Too. You're absolutely right. And it was a conference game too. It was it was actually one of the weaker teams in the conference.
Yeah, it had to be either Maryland or India. I think it might have been Maryland or something. I can't remember. I remember.
Sorry to be wrong.
I remember.
sorry to be wrong.
But it's like, yeah, I agree that there's no excuse for the 70 right. point wins and stuff like that. There really isn't. But if it's like you got to let the other kids play, but you don't have to go all out, no huddle, trying to score as much as you can. But no, do you have any final words? I know we're hit 26 minutes. We hit 26 minutes, Maestro. We can never do it. We get worse and worse every week.
I know, and it's my fault. Don't hold against Big Bob, SimWorld administration. Hold against Maestro. I want to say this right now because I keep telling everybody AI is going to kill us. Skynet's going to come take over and everything else. So here's the thing: if you guys remember earlier, we were talking about who was Randy Moss's offensive coordinator his rookie year when he played with the Vikings. If you look it up on the internet, it's going to tell you that Tony Dungy was his head coach and offensive coordinator. Tony Dungy was not. Tony Dungy was still with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as head coach. It was Coach Green was his head coach and offensive coordinator, and they look nothing alike. I know they say everybody looks alike, but I'm telling you, even the computers are racist. So I said it.
No, I'm telling you. I really hope that people don't take everything. When you do the Google searches and the AI pops up the answer first, I really, really hope people aren't taking those answers at face value all the time. There's so many, it's like minor-ish thing. It's literally like one word that's wrong, but it's such a significant part of it that is wrong. Like I said, what'd you type in? We'll do a quick
tell you, I typed in who was Randy Moss's offensive coordinator his rookie year. There is no ambiguity in that question.
Let's see, generating. Randy Moss's offensive coordinator during the 1998 season with the Minnesota Vikings was Brian Billick.
No, come on. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna be quiet right now because computers are gonna come and cut off my head in the middle of the night.
No, but you said it said his head coach was Tony Dungy. Again, I believe Tony Dungy was. When was he the? I know we're going down a rabbit hole. Everybody's already shutting us off right now, but all these things are coming up. When was he the defensive coordinator? He was a coordinator for the Vikings. Was it the year before that, or the year after? He was the Vikings court. He was the defensive backs coach, or is that's the Gophers, isn't it? Okay, so in 1992 to 95, he was the Vikings defensive coordinator.
Yeah, because he took the head coaching job for Tampa in '96.
Absolutely, yeah. He took it. Yeah, he was a head coach 96 to 01. Did he? No, he went on. Did they make? Was that the season they made the 2001 season? Was that the season they made the Super Bowl?
Yeah, when they won. I want to say yes. I'm not sure.
Because he didn't win it. Because he didn't win the Super Bowl.
He didn't win it. Yeah, they won it under Chucky. What's that coach's name? It looked like the Chucky doll.
Bill Cowher. No, John Gruden.
Gruden. Yeah.
That's right, because people love to say that John Gruden won with Tony Dungy's team.
And he said, and every time he hears that, he lets out a bunch of unchristian words. Anyway, we're rabbit holing on y'all. We apologize.
We're sorry. Yeah, we're just, we could talk forever. Any final words for the people, Maestro?
Love y'all. Appreciate y'all so much. Please, let us know what you think about the start of the SWFL season, as well as what's going on in, SWU college football. And, you have any questions about any of that, go on and shout out to your boys. And if you don't want to say it in public, you can DM either myself or Big Bob, and we'll keep it on the DL. I promise.
Absolutely. Message us with any of your comments, questions, anything you want us to talk about. We definitely will. But Maestro, I appreciate you as always. I appreciate everybody for listening. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week.